This day 305 is Zohar Pshat, and we on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph, the Zohar Kodesh, and we're up to Rabbi Abba, which, if you count from the end of the first paragraph on the page, is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, about 18 lines at the end of the paragraph. Rabbi Abba, Markoni Maros, Okloni Maros, Odom Oros, Kulim Ischabim, Rekia Shemaim, they all connect together, Rekia. Obviously, they're all embedded in the Rekia, and they're all connected, and they all work in unison. Loyal Aretz, to illuminate on the world. Lan Hora Ora. It's a direct translation. I'm not sure what it's adding, but in any event, they control the world. Manu Rekia de Noya Ara. What is this Rakia, which illuminates through the Ma'oros on the land? Hebehema, you'll say, Don Nord the Nagid, Venofik Maiden is the river which we've heard about before, which flows out from Aden. The Chsiva Noya to Maiden Lashkos Zagan. River comes out from Aden to irrigate the garden. Tachazeh, comes he. Came to see a Rosh Shalta once the moon is in control of East Nile, and it's illuminated. Mahir the Nara from that river. The Nagi V'Nafik, which comes out, of course, talking about the moon as it receives the light of the sun, which symbolizes the received spirituality, which it gets from the Olam Yonim. All of the heavens below, and their hosts, they all become illuminated with light. So there's light also when the moon is dark. Right, we're not taking this literally. It doesn't mean that the moon. There's no light to the stars on the 15 days that the moon is waning, or less light to the stars. And we know, of course, astronomically, the stars have their own light. It doesn't come from the moon. It's symbolic. The idea, the notion that the Am Yisrael, through its Avodas Hashem, which is symbolized by the waxing and the waning of the moon, brings down the spirituality to this world. And all the stars which are in charge of matters of this world, they all govern, and they cause trees and vegetation to grow. And the world is enhanced in everything. And even water and the fish of the sea, they all are enhanced accordingly. So he brings down here in the two Zohar, the famous Bereshis Rabbah, very, very famous. So there's no blade of grass, it doesn't have a mazel in heaven, which hits it and tells it to grow. So mazel here, according to the Zohar, means a star. And the Zohar Kodesh is going with the assumption that mazel here means astrological signs. We said a couple of days ago, the Zohar's approaches that astrology is real. According to opinions of like the Rambam and Tiferes Kiddushin, that astrology is not real. So the Mazal in the Bereshis Rabbah is not referring to specific stars, they're referring to a specific type of spiritual force, which, and that account, very often when the Bereshis Rabbah is quoted, it's quoted as if it says Malach. Because we associate the two. Mazal meaning flow, in this case means a spiritual flow which corresponds to the material existence, and that spiritual flow is that which is in charge of it in Shamayim. And everything has a spiritual flow to it. I remember, I don't know if I've talked about this in our Zohar series yet, but I'm sure I repeated myself many times if I haven't yet, that when I was walking with my father to shul, Father of Hashem Shul once, very many years ago, when I was a youngster, I talked about buttons, and I said buttons have feelings, and you shouldn't sell my buttons. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was. I didn't even know it was about insulting buttons. But Father said, no, buttons do not have feelings. But we know that buttons might not have feelings, but the idea is that there is a spiritual force called button, which is behind every button. That's we find that by the stones by Yaakov Avinu. Where we understand that discussion there in Chazal that the stones had this meriva rojo, this idea that every inanimate object, and certainly an animate object such as a blade of grass which grows, has a spiritual force which is the root of its existence in this world. So again, it can be a malach It can be Mazal in the sense of a spiritual flow. It can be Mazal the way the Zohar Kodesh is using it in the sense of an astrological entity and an actual star. But there is everything material has a spiritual force above it, which corresponds to it, and through which its success as a button, its success as a stone, its success as a blade of grass is determined, and which can be affected by spiritual forces other than itself. Right? Kol tali b'mazal, according to this, would mean that everything has to do with its spiritual flow in Shemayim, and that spiritual flow is affected by the Avodas Hashem of Am Yisrael, by other factors as well, obviously, of Ratzon Hashem. But there's this idea that everything has a spiritual root in Shemayim, which corresponds to existence down here in the world. And it goes on and says, "V'kama gardani nimusin." Strange word. The Chemis explains this to mean shluchei hadin, the emissaries of judgment. Hamemunim lenoshlo vrim al animus vados, those who could come to punish those who violate the proper modes of behavior and religion. Lashon Mazal, Chazal have a language. Halel gadam took them up to the seat of judgment. So v'kama gardin nimusin shatem ba'amin. There are spiritual forces in control, and they judge according to the person's, Am Yisrael's, and individuals' fulfillment of the nimusin, properly and improperly. Begin to kula b'cherva. All of them are in joy, and evidently everything is doing well. But rabu chela, and they have been in enhanced force. Kad cherva hu b'vei malka, when there's joy in the king's house. So even those who are at the gates, presumably they're lower, they're in charge of, so to speak, lower things. Even those from the Beit Tanashe, which means from the trash heaps. They all rejoice and go around the world for Rabbi the Alma Bain Lis Tamara, and they want to preserve the working of the world. Okay, the way the Derech Emes explains that, feel kochos hachitzonis, even the negative powers, hamazik ashemi based tarnishe, which come from the trash heaps. So hamazikim, those things are which damage and with mahasimah and destroy the world. Kulam smechim. They all rejoice when the Sierra is bishlimuso, when things are going well. Because each and everyone has what it's supposed to govern and control and optimize. So he says, yeah, but whoa, since one Beit Tanisha are in charge of Askara, are in charge of disease, and I'm sure we have to therefore watch the children that they shouldn't be hurt. So he says that's what it means. The way he's interpreting is that since Kulun Chadim Shatim Ba'amad, if Rabbi the Alma Ba'is Tamara means not that the world is enhanced and they want to increase. They want to increase it the way I learned it before. Well, which is probably wrong, since the Derech Emes says that's not the Pshat. He says Rabbi Aaron said that the children world have to be hidden. So they have to be hidden because when the kochos chitzonim are functioning optimally, they are also bechedva. But that gives them koyach to do things which we want them to avoid. So, in essence, the way Derech Emes is learning it, it's because the kochos chitzonim, when they rejoice, it's not so good for us. Although I think there must be Pshat in the Zohar, like I said before, something along the lines, perhaps I'm wrong, it's a positive, even with kochos chitzonim. But the word istamora, I think is right, probably means to hide, not necessarily to be out in the open. Oh well, but in any event, the idea is that when Sierra Bishlimusa and things are going well, the world goes well.